Good day. Well, interesting times in the good old USA. I wish to entitle this message Minneapolis, or should I say Minnesota, neither of which is easy to spell, but I'll do the best I can. Minnesota, a new perspective. I'm sure both of those were derived from Native American names. However, I live in a state that also is derived from Native American naming. What can I say, folks? Do cultures change and shift over time? If you would watch through the Bible with Les Feldick, it's so interesting. I keep trying to encourage people to watch it. I am not saying that I agree with 100% of what he says, but he's 99% accurate when it comes to really important things, such as connecting the Tanakh, or the Old Testament, to the New Testament. Yes, one of the things that I recently heard him say, and probably he has reiterated it over the years, I think it took him decades to get through the Bible. I think it started in 1991 and ended sometime in the 2000s, so pretty much it took him decades to get through the Bible. Can you imagine? Of course. And this was just a speed course. Every segment had to be half an hour, and he did a good job, didn't he? And then there'd be like the quirky moments where maybe he'd lose his place, or there'd be like an audio difficulty. And the people in the audience, they're what middle-aged people look like when I was young. And now middle-aged people look different. But don't dismiss it just because the audience looks old-fashioned. That would be terrible. Even I would say that to somebody my age. Don't dismiss it. Don't dismiss it. This is very good teaching. He was saying back in, was it 1991 or 1992? The reason why the people in the Middle East are always fighting, they're close relatives. He talked about, if I could just remember it, he put it on the chalkboard, but you see, I'm not so good at remembering everything. You have Abraham, you have Terah. Oh my goodness, you just have to watch through the Bible with Les Feldick. The people who are feuding in the Middle East are actually pretty close relatives. You don't understand that the Jews and the surrounding nations are more closely related than you, the Gentile or the Aborigine, are related to. Whatever. Maybe somebody that looks like you. Somebody that looks like you think you would love them? I don't know. What can I say, folks? Can I say something? I can't tell, that person is Jewish just by looking at them, but I might surmise by their last name. I might surmise by their position in society. The Jews of the Middle East will be on the spectrum. They could be very fair, but they wouldn't really have been there for generations. They would be reintroduced into the region through the Aliyah. Is that what it is? Returning. God's calling the Jews to return to the Holy Land. This is the land that he promised to Abraham and his descendants. And yes, there are other descendants of Abraham, but he didn't have the covenant with the one branch. And the one branch is hopping mad. Is that oversimplifying things? Now, very interesting. If you want to talk about the J question, because I don't want to be called a Nick Fuentes, God forbid, God forbid. Do you know, can we talk about something very interesting in American history? There were actually Jewish gangsters. Apparently Bugsy Siegel didn't like to be called Bugsy, but you could get away with it if you were a close friend. And then there was this other guy that was actually Dutch, but he was also Jewish. And I don't know. You see, I forget a lot of details. Yeah. So don't just say, well, the Italians are involved in organized crime. Even Les Feldick, you would think, well, that's a Jewish name. No, it's not. Just because it's Germanic doesn't make it Jewish. You understand? People, well, so close and yet so far. Right? My eyes adored you. No, I didn't lay a hand on you. So close, but yet so far. You'll know that if you grew up in the 70s. Da 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 da. Okay, have we had enough time to look it up on memory lane? I was just giving you time to search it up. My eyes adored you. Oh, I never laid a hand on. Right. You looked it up. Now Les Feldick said that doesn't mean because the Jews are God's chosen people that they always act morally well. In fact, numerous times he said, well, we wish that they would be morally upright people. They're it doesn't change the fact that God had a covenant relationship with Abraham, and it stands, it stands, it stands, it stands, it stands. And then when you get to David, I'm thinking, David, you see the Messiah starting to shine through. I'm innocent, Lord. Your Holy One will never see death. It wasn't really talking about himself, and yet he was identifying with the Messiah. There was something different about David. The Psalms are not prophecy, and yet they are. The Psalms are light, and their hope, and their redemption. There is the idea of a joyful eternity with our Creator. And yet, let's think about King David himself. Well, it wasn't so bad, I guess, that he had all these wives. How much time does a man, I feel like they treated women like cattle back then. I guess that was very Middle Eastern. Women are not sheep and cattle. The more women I have, that's just, women are like livestock, and your children are like calves born in a barn. I mean, that's like, please, can we put the brakes on this? I guess it's different today. Not in the Middle East, but, amongst the Jews, it's different. So, but it wasn't enough for him to have, as the king of Israel, after Saul was deposed, done away with, wasn't enough for him to have any woman that he wanted. He had to have a woman who just happened to be taking a bath on a rooftop? What an exhibitionist. Well, we could call her something else. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to be psychological here, whatever her aims were. I think she probably knew that if she was like Shamu the whale bathing on the rooftop, everybody would say, can we please put Shamu back in the ocean? She's a fish out of water. Or Shamuette. I guess Shamu might have been a boy. I don't know. You're my generation, so. My eyes adored you, though I never laid a hand on you. My eyes adored you. I'm a vocal stylist. A million miles away you couldn't. I know. I'd rather not see. Thank you. Stop. Please stop adoring me. Goodbye. Okay. Don't look straight into the nuclear blast. Even sunglasses won't help. David did a terrible thing. He had an affair with this lady, and because he wanted to seem righteous, he wanted to cover it up. He didn't go to the guy was, I guess he wasn't a Jew or whatever. He didn't go to his lieutenant and say, hey, I did a bad thing, your wife and I, we got a little too cozy, she's pregnant, can I just pay you a little bit of money and, and we'll just, everybody's going to be all right. We're just, it's going to be okay. No, he had to have the guy murdered because David was like, well, I can't break the Lord's command. You broke the Lord's commandments when you had sex with that lady. And now you compounded the one commandment that you broke, which was committing adultery, with murdering somebody. Samuel said, you're bad. And Bathsheba did give birth to a kid, but he meant the destruction and the demise of ancient Israel. That kingdom was torn asunder. The Lord said, I'm going to rip this kingdom from you. Oh, it's very dramatic. Could we make a soap opera? Gifted people that really knew the Bible, that had good advisors with, good actresses. Maybe it would be a radio show if you can't, some of these people that are supposed to be beautiful today, it just makes me, gag me with a spoon. They look like they're demon possessed. I'm just like, ugh. Demon possession is beautiful, or it's just something turns my stomach about some of these people that are supposed to be beautiful. Okay. Well, I didn't say anybody specifically, so whatever. But Melania, she's coming out with a movie. I think that's great. I think she's really beautiful and she's funny too. But will I go and see the movie? Everybody should see the movie, but I haven't been to a movie since that one about Steve Jobs. Yeah, it's been a very long time. Yeah, nobody's invited me, I don't. Well, Mom, it'd be good for Mom to get out of the house. Then she wouldn't be so weird. Oh, no, screw Mom. Yeah, what? You didn't say that. Oh, I'm sure you didn't. Yeah, so I don't. It's all right. I can make popcorn at home. But again, I keep talking about Through the Bible with Les Feldick. Why do you keep doing this? Well, because I'm trying to reach out to people beyond my immediate community. My immediate community is nutso. They're ipso fatso. That's logical, right? No, it's modus ponens ponenti. It's ipso fatso. You don't remember anything about logic, do you? It wasn't ipso fatso because my husband made fun of it so many times that it became ipso fatso, and I don't remember what it is. But I remember modus ponens and modus ponens ponendi. I keep trying to get people to watch Through the Bible with Les Feldick. I might have to hashtag it. Are you some sort of a religious fanatic? No, I feel as if this is so pure. This ministry is so pure. It never endeavored to make a profit at all. He kept doing it. And his main occupation was being a rancher out in Oklahoma. I believe he was in Oklahoma. Hope I didn't make a mistake there. And he just was so knowledgeable by the time he started videotaping his episodes. He had learned so much. He had made these connections. I'm thinking, this man is gifted. He's gifted. Does he occasionally say things that seem to be a little bit, when you open up a carton of milk, it's a bit off. Same with any preacher. Sometimes, any given day, not very frequently, something they say, it's a bit off. Big picture wise, no, I don't think so. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. I don't know. You could think about my last name. I mean, Jewish people get confused. Are they German or are they Jewish? Are they German Jews? My father said the German Jews were the smartest. Well, apparently some of them make it into the New York underworld. You know that guy Walker from New York, the first New York mayor? How corrupt he was. And then it took Fiorello LaGuardia to really clean up that corruption. Remember Tammany Hall? I remember learning about Tammany Hall. Democrats! I don't know about Fiorello LaGuardia, if he was like LaGuardia, I'm sorry, if he was a Democrat or a Republican, but he seemed to be a very honest guy. He wanted to get that corruption out. But you know what they say, folks? The more things change, the more they stay the same. More things change, the more they stay the same. Thank you very much. Do-do-do. Well, you know, the drugs and everything, they're trying to push drugs on people. Reefer madness, it does induce psychosis in some people. It contributes to the development of schizophrenia. Not in all. Not everybody has an allergy to bananas or milk. But in some, it causes mental problems. I mean, is there any safe pharmaceutical? Some people are allergic to aspirin. Some people are allergic to cats. Well, can we counteract cats? I suppose we can counteract cats with anti-allergens because it's the enzyme in their spit that generally produces an allergic reaction in people. It's not necessarily the dander. It's not what you think. But we can't deny that some people are experiencing high levels of paranoia and psychosis. For what reason? It's some sort of a cocktail that they're getting in their environment. How can you be... Okay, I'm just going to say it. How can you be out protesting in that kind of weather? Like it's a long way from Mexico. Oh, Mexico. Never really been there and I don't want to go. Oh, no, Mexico. Oh! Never really been there and I don't want to go. Oh, no, Mexico. Is it good? No, it's not good. It's dangerous. But they're coming up here to Wisconsin. Don't arrest all these people. Listen, there are people that are unstable, but they have little networks, and it's usually drugs that fuel them to do these things. Like, PCP, for example, that horse tranquilizer can give people this superhuman ability. It's like all these people that just... How do people do this stuff? How do people just march out and protest? I just got to get all like the Viking berserkers. Now, of course, if you look it up on Google these days, well, that's just blah, blah. I remember what I remember. The Vikings went berserk when they took a certain sort of psychedelic and they went crazy and they started slaughtering people and doing all kinds of stuff. Look at the Swede today. They're like, ribbit. They're not MJ the Dancing Frog. They're like, well, we just have to I'm so sad that the man who sodomized me is going to be deported. Like, the guy actually said that. I'm like, I am so sure. I mean, you can tell there's no Transylvanian Saxon in that, bro. I mean, that guy is like very milquetoast. I mean, please. Hello, you wouldn't survive a minute. Not a minute on the main streets of Minneapolis. Oh! So, I'm hoping Tom Holman will bring things to heel. He's old school. He knows how to deal with things. I don't know how you deal with drug-addled. I've dealt with drug-addled people. They are ipso fatso nutso. Uh, 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 uh. Yeah, I think we need a new prohibition on drugs. That's what I think. Oh yeah, I'd throw in alcohol too. Why not? But can you do that? It's so complicated because people are on pharmaceuticals and they're on their ashwagandha and everything, every crazy little thing you can think of. Everything's legal now. Everything's legal. I would be very happy, but how could you ever? There would be endless lawsuits. You can't take my ashwagandha away from me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a crazy old granny. I know everything from that to like, the hosts on television. They don't know. Everybody doesn't realize that they're actually drunk, and they're just like, it's all vodka. I'm fueled by vodka, man. And then half of them are on smoking pot or some kind of like weird mushroom cocktail. What the heck is going on with society these days, folks? Can you keep your bearings? Can you? Can you do it? Can you do it? Do we know why we're here? And I want to say this about stolen land since I have more time. It seems I have a lot of time here. Didn't tribes war against one another? Didn't they even in North America, didn't they even engage in cannibalism? And in Latin America, it was even worse. They were actually doing human sacrifice. And like, I won't go into the details, but it was pretty darn gory. It was pretty darn awful. It was calmer in North America because it was colder. And, people just decided, you know what? I don't know. They're just nicer in North America. I feel like I'm one of those people. I'm not like Minnesota nuts. Minnesota nuts. Minnesota nuts. You're nuts. I don't know what the heck is wrong with you. I mean, you're so passive you had to go berserk, right? Like a bunch of like the Swedes and the Norwegians, like Lawrence Welk. Oh, I'm sorry if he was from Wisconsin. I'm sorry if I've confused that. So it's not to disparage Lawrence Welk. My dad used to kind of make fun of Lawrence Welk. You probably don't know anything about Lawrence Welk. Oh, that was wonderful. And now it's time for blah. He had this very heavy Swedish accent and everything, so whatever. It seems like people that come to my state aren't as crazy as people that have gone to Minnesota. What's wrong with you people? I mean, my grandparents came here with they bought some land, they got a farm, They weren't Amish, and, they decided to leave the farm because it wasn't profitable enough, and they went to a big city, and, it went how it went. Well, you stole land! Fuck you. Oops! I'm sorry, something slipped out. How did they steal land? They weren't even here when the settlers were here. What if we give the land back to you? We're going to turn it into a great big casino. Yay-haw! I know you would. I know you would. Okay, so please. Everybody just needs to settle down. I guess I do too. Maybe this is enough. Maybe somebody will listen. But listen, folks, I couldn't leave. Did I mention this before? I don't. That person in Virginia, that white, of course, she's all white privileged nursey. Kick them crazy bitches out your nursing school. Bro, if a doctor, trying to sound like a black preacher, if a doctor said he's going to this is how you poison people and contaminate people, they would take his medical license away, put him in prison for 4 years, throw that bitch in jail, strip her of her medical license and supervise her for the rest of her life because she wants to contaminate people's food and stuff. Not to be trusted, the liberal white ladies, not to be trusted, the real... I said it wrong. Can I try again? Yes, you get a second chance. Not to be trusted, the liberal white ladies. It's hard for me to say, I don't know why. Not to be it's like a tongue twister. Not to be trusted, the liberal white ladies. Not to be trusted, the liberal white ladies. Yeah, not to be trusted, the liberal white ladies. Not to be trusted, the liberal white ladies. Oh, I'd love to chant that. What I love to chant. I am so, what kind of a Karen complex do we even have? That you're going to go on TikTok and do that schlock. Not good. I'm telling you, not good.